Hey everybody, this is Buzz Miller of Wannabe Studios. I just purchased the Headrush Prime, and we're going to talk about it today, so hang on. Now you're sitting here saying, Buzz, the Headrush Prime, that's been out for over a year. Everybody knows about that. Everybody's done videos about that. Well, yes and no. Yes, they have, and yes, you can learn all about it. Couple of things. Number one, a brand new patch just came out, a new firmware upgrade where they added a bunch of new things, but I'm going to kind of go back to the basics. Why the Headrush Prime? Number one, I'm an 11-rack guy. Number two, they just became very affordable. They were $1,390 US dollars. That's a lot. More than I want to spend, considering I have a Headrush right back there. So we're going to talk about a couple of the differences between the Headrush and the Headrush Prime. The first difference, the Headrush Prime has a whole second user platform. You can run all of your vocals through it. It has the real life auto-tune, Antares auto-tune, not a cheap knockoff. It's got the real thing. If you wanted to go out and you wanted to just take one piece of equipment and go out to an open mic night or go out to a little local bar and just play and remove all the possibilities of them screwing up your sound, you take this. You got all your sounds of your vocals. You got all your sounds of your guitar. You can do multiple guitars. You can do a bass and guitar. If you want to have you and the bass player both go through this, you send one out to the house makes your sound through the speakers. It simplifies all the possibilities that could go wrong. That's what the Headrush Prime is great for. We're going to go through a couple of the ways that the signals come in. You've got a bunch of different options of how to map all of your signals, and we'll go through a few of those. There are some new ones with the new firmware release, so you get a little bit more options of what you can do with your guitar when you're in vocal and guitar mode. A little more options of what you can do with your vocal when you're in vocal and guitar mode. That way you can pack more effects on if you want to do that. We'll go through that in just a second. Why me? Because I'm a cheapskate, and at $1,390, it's not worth it. It doesn't have enough over the original Headrush to pay $1,390. Well, the market is really poor for certain equipment right now, especially equipment that's been on the shelf for a year or two. Headrush Prime is one of those things. Headrush Core, which has all the Prime options, but a lot smaller without an expression pedal and not as many buttons, but it has the same brains. I found the Headrush Prime full size on Reverb, and you can still do it today for $799, brand spanking new. At $799, this thing is an option that it's not at $1,390. At $1,390, you sit here and you go, well, I've got the Axifex FM9, I think it is, which is $1,400, and the Headrush Prime, if I'm doing it just for guitar, the Axifex crushes it, so I'm going to go buy that. Now, I didn't pay $799. I made an offer on Reverb, and they took my lousy offer. So I got a brand spanking new one to my door for under $799. You may want to try that out, especially for places that are taking offers. That's why I have this. What does this do that the other one doesn't? There are a few options, there are a few amps, there are a few modelings, there are a few effects that are on the new one that are not on the old one. Now, some people have said they threw the old one away, they don't update it anymore. They updated the old one actually I updated it last week, but I think the update came out 3 or 4 weeks ago. Came out with a new bass wah. It came out with a new distortion pedal. It came out with a couple of different options. They are still working on the old one, not as much as the new one. What does the new one do? One of the things is it will model your pedals. It will model your amps. Now, when it first came out, some of the modeling was a little bit dry, not really round and full. They have done a lot of upgrades to the amp modeling. So the original amp models, when this first came out, and the amp models that they're in now with the 2.3 and later, a lot better, a lot more true. You don't have to EQ it to make it sound exactly like the amp as much as you used to. I have a couple of amps that are really unique. I have one that Tony Crank hand wired for me. I'm going to put that baby in here as soon as I'm allowed to lift it and bring it over. Now, I do talk about lifting. These things are 20 pounds. These are not lightweights. You could drop them out of a plane and I think they would still work. They are huge. They have very robust buttons. The expression pedal, you're not going to break it. These things are durable. So I'm going to just take a couple of seconds real quick and show you, I did hear that this thing doesn't make any good clean sounds. And what I found that the people on the their YouTube channels were saying they hadn't heard any good clean sounds. Mostly because the people that are on YouTube that are actually getting hits tend to be the shredders, tend to be the metal guys, a lot of saturation, a lot of distortion. And so they're putting the death metal sounds right out. This does get great clean sounds, just like the 11 rack did and just like the standard Headrush did before the Headrush Prime. I'll show you a couple of those that I just made. I've been playing with sounds for a couple of minutes. Then I found this new item that is in the new firmware 2.3, and they've got one that's like a electric piano and it sounds pretty good. This one I got to play with a little bit more. There's a lot of different parameters to adjust, but this one is more of a synthesizer sound, and they've got a couple of new sounds that go with it. But I was playing with this one and I was going. Again, not something you're going to want to play a lot with your band, but ambient sounds, that kind of thing. Very cool to be able to have those. So you set these up and you set them either in a set list, or you set them up songs, or you set them up so you don't have to go through preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, preset 4. You say, I want this song, and it goes from preset 1 to preset 68 to preset 73, because those are the 3 sounds you use for that song. Or you have a set list, or like I have certain bands that I play with, and so I'll put all the sounds for that band over here, and when I'm playing over here, I'll put those sounds over here. That way, you don't have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, especially when you're playing live. You don't want to have to hit the button 19 times and sit there and stare and go, okay, now I'm on preset 20. You got your set list goes from preset 1 to preset 20 to preset 68 to your solo or your lead, whatever. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But these are some of the clean tones that I came up with just a matter of 2-3 minutes setting them up. Compressor, amp, speaker, and a little bit of chorus. That's it. Didn't take any time to set it up. I call that my 80s because of the chorus. And then 70s is a lot more dry. I have a compressor, an amp, and a speaker. That's it. Humbucker neck, humbucker bridge. Those are some simple clean sounds. Again, nothing crazy. I haven't really shaped them. I'm going to do some EQing stuff and work on them a little bit more. But if you can get that good, just spending 3 or 4 minutes setting it up, you can get good clean sounds. And the other thing I've been just working on is some of the Fender-esque sounds off of a single coil. This gets those pretty well as well. So let's go and let's look at the top of the machine. Let's look at the differences between the 2 units, between the Headrush and the Headrush Prime, some of the different plug-in, some of the different ports, that type of thing. And look at some of the new improvements of the signal chain that we have with the new firmware upgrade. So these are the sounds I was telling you about. Here's the one I just played. I call it Death from Above, which is a band that some of you may know, Isaac von Hauser. So I've got a volume, which I really like to do. My volume is over here as my expression pedal. That way I can stand on it and turn it down. I have a tube screamer, I have an amp, and then I have it split right now going to two different cab IRs. This is one way you can do it if you want to do one set of amps and IRs over here, one set here. That way you can have that sound that people love of playing multiple amps. Go down to here and you just click on it. Here's my guitar in. I have one set, and then I have a long set of patches. So if I want to do after my speakers or whatever, I can do that. So that's an option. This works great if you're working with some of the more delicate sounds as well. Here I have guitar in, goes to out, all straight. I've got guitar 2 in to out. That way, if I want to plug my guitar in and another guitarist, we can have a full bank of what we want. And he has his or she has hers and I have mine. Each has its own out, or we can send it out to the same one. So you send one thing out to the house if you're mixed perfectly. If you're not mixed perfectly, send one out to the house, send the other one out to the house. But there's an option with 2 guitar ins. Here is a microphone in. This is so if you're going to do some crazy vocal stuff. This path goes this way all the way through. So it is one straight signal path, and you pack everything in you want on that single signal path to your out. Now, those of you who have messed with Headrush, the early Headrush, when you went out, it had so many different global parameters you could really get lost. This simplifies the global parameters, but when you go to your out, you do have global parameters. If you want to do a high cut, a low cut, certain things you want on every sound, you can go in there and do that. Okay, so here we've got a microphone in to out. You've got all those options. You've got guitar in. So you've got a single path here, multiple outs. Here is a new one. This one comes in. You have a signal path on your microphone in. Then you've got a signal path on your guitar, and the 2 outs are here. This is another one. Microphone in, you've got 2 possibilities and a lot more possibilities on your guitar. They were shortening your guitar and adding to the microphone. Now they give you a lot more options. So you can have a bunch of different options on your guitar, only 2 items on your microphone if that's what you want. Here is one that I use a lot. Guitar in, 1 signal all the way through to your out. And then this one goes back to in, you have 3 spots, then it splits. A lot of people like to split amps. I have 1 amp there. When you model an amp from the outside and bring it in, you can tell it what to look like. I've got this one actually looking like a pedal because they don't have an amp that, and I like to be able to tell, oh, that's that amp that I'm using. So that looks like a pedal, but it's an amp. So those are the different signal paths that you can choose from. It's not unlimited signal paths. You can't change it. What they give you is what you got, and those are the ones they give you. Now let's compare the 2 Headrush items. When they're standing side by side, the Headrush Prime is a little wider. The same controls, the same 7-inch touchscreen, the same amount of buttons, the same amount of controls, and as all the Headrush and 11 rack, all of these go to 11. A few more output changes in the back. Obviously, when you're going to be bringing in a bass guitar or another guitar, you need more inputs. When you're bringing in a microphone, you need to have XLR inputs. You're going to need to have your 48 volt power for certain microphones you're going to use. All of those are in here. That's why you have more inputs, and you change on the back of the unit for the new Headrush Prime. The Headrush Core, much the same inputs and outputs. Again, it's just no expression pedal, 4 less buttons, but all the brains are the same. All of these signals where it says guitar in, this can be bass as well. Because this is all digital, you don't have the problems that you have of plugging a bass into a normal amp or plugging a bass into some other equipment that can be harmed by the higher output and the different frequencies that a bass gives. So you can plug your bass in and use your standard guitar signal path. And this does come with a lot of bass options. Some of the new bass options that came out with the newest of the firmware are actually quite good. Okay, so maybe some good news, bad news. Good news is I'm done telling you about the Headrush Prime core, all that kind of stuff. Bad news, maybe good news, I don't know. I am out of things to say. There's only so many ways you can say, here's how you fix a Floyd Rose. This may be my last YouTube video. Since I've moved, obviously I can't carry things. I can't carry my good cameras, so I'm all on bad cameras. I can't carry my amps. I can't pick things up. I have guitars I'm not legally allowed to pick up. So, I don't know. It's just, I don't have anything to say. So this may be my last of the YouTube videos. So maybe lucky for you. If you do have any particular item you want me to discuss or something you want me to go over, let me know. Maybe I'll do another video or two. But other than that, I think I'm done. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a friend. Keep on rocking. We'll catch you later.